Hi, Mystery Recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain a horror fantasy movie called Wildling. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie opens as we're introduced to a little girl named Anna who lives in an attic with her father Gabe. He cares for her, feeds her, and teaches her to read and write, but Anna isn't allowed to leave the attic. Gabe instills fear in her by telling her stories about the wildlings with large teeth and claws who hunt children in the forests. He claims that the reason he's keeping her in the attic is to protect her from them. Gabe also says that they're the last two people in the world and that everyone else has died. The little girl trusts her father and never tries to get out, especially since her doorknob is electrified. We also notice that Gabe only feeds her vegetables for some reason, just in case her life wasn't already shitty enough. One day, Anna has a dream about a werewolf-like wildling mauling someone in the forest. She soon awakens from the nightmare and discovers blood on her sheets. Scared, she asks her father what is going on, unaware that she has hit puberty. However, Gabe claims that she's very sick and injects her with something, saying it's medicine. He tells her that she must take this medicine every day from now on, and the girl naively agrees. The scene then cuts to many years later, where we see Gabe bringing Anna a cake to celebrate her 16th birthday. However, it appears that she has become extremely weak due to the daily medication. Gabe administers the injection again, and she's convinced that she's dying slowly. Anna then begs her father to end her miserable life so that she can be in a better place. Upon hearing this, Gabe becomes very emotional and takes out a gun to shoot her, but he can't bring himself to do it to his beloved daughter, so he tells her to close her eyes and shoots himself instead. In the next scene, Anna awakens in a hospital bed, terrified to find herself in such an unfamiliar environment. She runs away and climbs to the roof of the building, where she's astounded to see the outside world for the first time. However, the girl is soon captured by the hospital staff and restrained back into the bed. Soon after, she's visited by a sheriff named Ellen, who assures her not to be afraid. She removes Anna's straps and explains that she was the one who discovered her after the neighbors reported hearing gunshots. Anna then inquires about her father, and Ellen leads her to another room, where Gabe is seen miraculously alive and on life support. Later, Ellen speaks with a doctor who reveals that Anna's body contains a high level of leuprorelin, which has prevented her from maturing. He explains that it has severe side effects and there's no evidence of her menstrual cycle as well. He claims that if the situation had continued for a few more days, the girl would most likely have died. Afterward, a senior doctor arrives to see Anna and informs her that she'll be taken to a halfway house where she will temporarily reside. Ellen is against the idea of locking her up again, but the doctor refuses to listen. They start arguing, but Anna suddenly interrupts them and says she wants to go with Ellen. Following this, the two head home, and Ellen informs Anna that she'll be staying with her until her DNA results come back. On the way, Anna looks around the town with curiosity, while a hunter known as the Wolf Man keeps an eye on her. At home, she's served a hamburger, but only eats the meat since she has never eaten anything like this before. She also meets Ellen's teenage brother Ray, who doesn't seem happy to have her in the house. Before going to bed, Anna asks Ellen to close the windows because of the wildlings who roam outside and kill children. The sheriff assumes this is something her father told her and assures her that there are no such things as wildlings. But the teenager remains scared, so she closes the windows and prays before falling asleep. Later, Ellen visits Anna's former home and notices a drawing on the wall depicting a wildling devouring a child. In the following days, Anna adjusts to her new life and eventually develops a good bond with Ray. He teaches her about the outside world and even shows her adult videos to explain how babies are made. Whoa. Sometime later, she finally starts getting her period as well. Anna freaks out at first, but Ellen explains what it is and reassures her that she's now a woman. One day, Ray takes Anna to school, and while he attends his classes, she goes to the library to study. There, she meets a popular student named Jen, who invites her to a house party later on. Anna agrees and then begins reading about the Northern Lights from a book she found in the library. She is captivated by the stunning sight and has an intense desire to witness it firsthand. After school, Anna tries to find Ray, but instead encounters a bully named Lawrence and his friend. The two attempt to annoy her until Ray arrives and initiates a scuffle. Lawrence then delivers a hard punch to Ray's stomach, but Anna retaliates by punching him back. This scares the bullies a bit, so they immediately back off. Later, Anna is wandering through the forest barefoot when she sees a deer and feels a strong urge to chase it. She starts running after it at full speed, but is unexpectedly stopped by the Wolf Man. He saves her from triggering a hunter's trap that could have killed her. In the evening, while shaving Anna's legs. Ellen then does her best impression of Maury Povich, saying that the DNA results have returned, and Gabe is not her biological father. The sheriff regretfully informs her that she won't be able to stay here for long, as the authorities are looking for a permanent home for her. Disheartened, Anna goes to the roof to clear her mind, where she is soon joined by Ray. She asks if he has ever seen the Northern Lights, and he responds that he hasn't. Ray then opens up about his late mother and shares that she had promised to take him there. During their conversation, Anna hears distant noises and realizes her senses have been heightened. She inquires about the noise, and Ray informs her that it could be Jen's party. The girl then recalls that Jen had invited her and decides to go there with Ray. Shortly after, the two show up at the venue, where Lawrence once again attempts to intimidate and insult Ray, but the teenagers completely ignore him and start drinking some booze. They then dance to a romantic song and unexpectedly end up kissing. At this moment, Anna begins to bleed from her mouth and rushes to the restroom. She then notices several of her teeth falling out, which terrifies her. Meanwhile, Ray knocks on the bathroom door and asks if she's okay. He offers to take her home, but a freaked out Anna flees through the window and runs into the woods. Shortly after, she encounters Lawrence, who violently rips her clothes and attempts to assault her. This prompts Anna to imagine him as a wildling, so she ferociously fights back. She tears out his throat with her sharp teeth, killing him instantly. Anna eventually comes to her senses seconds later and realizes she has killed a human, but she's so confused that she runs to her former home and spends the night there. The next morning, Anna takes a shower and puts on some of Gabe's clothes. She then leaves the house and wanders around town, where she eventually runs into Ellen. The sheriff takes Anna home and asks where she was last night, expressing how worried she was. But before the teenager can answer, another sheriff named Roger arrives to inform Ellen that Lawrence has been missing since last night. He reveals that the boy was at the same party Anna and Ray attended. He wants to question Anna about it, but Ellen promises to talk to her and sends him away. Following this, Ellen goes back to Anna and inquires if she knows where Lawrence is. However, the girl does not respond and begins painting her nails. Just then, Ray arrives and requests to speak with her alone, so Ellen exits the room. He then questions her about what happened after the party and warns her that if she acts recklessly, he won't be able to protect her. Anna remains silent, but Ray notices that several of her teeth have fallen out. He becomes scared and goes to call his sister, saying they need to take Anna to the hospital. Meanwhile, Anna seizes the opportunity to escape the house and runs away. She soon arrives in the forest and comes across the Wolfman once again. He gives her some meat, which she devours like a wild animal. He then examines her nails and teeth and informs her of the shocking fact that she is a wildling. The Wolfman reveals that local hunters purged the settlement of wildlings 16 years ago to get rid of them. However, it seems that not all of them are dead, as she's still alive. He then points Anna to a cave and claims that her mother is there. The teenager gets excited by this and promptly heads inside the cave. However, upon reaching a bit further, she discovers her mother's skull with a bullet hole in it. We learn through a flashback that Gabe was one of the local hunters who murdered her mother, but when he noticed a human-looking baby crying in the distance, he couldn't bring himself to shoot her. Instead, he chose to raise her as his daughter and injected her with luprorelin daily to keep her from maturing and transforming into a wildling. In the present, Anna returns to the hospital and watches Gabe from afar. When he turns around and sees her, she becomes nervous and flees. She then goes back to Ellen and hugs her emotionally, but to her shock, the sheriff suddenly handcuffs her and reveals that Lawrence's body was found next to Anna's clothes. Ellen apologizes for having to do this and places the girl in jail for committing murder. In the evening, Roger is guarding Anna when Gabe arrives to see her after being released from the hospital. It is then revealed that Roger and Gabe were both members of the hunting party that killed the wildlings 16 years ago. Gabe meets with Anna and tells her about his pet dog Jasper, who went mad after she came to the house. He admits that he eventually had to kill the dog, a decision he still regrets. He tells Anna that sparing her life was his greatest mistake, as he had sworn an oath to kill all wildlings. Gabe then hands Anna a syringe filled with a lethal dose of luprorelin and urges her to take it. However, the girl refuses to inject herself, prompting a frustrated Gabe to walk out. The next morning, Ellen arrives at Anna's cell to check on her and discovers her hiding under the prison bed. She unlocks the door and approaches her, but Anna quickly gets up and locks the sheriff inside before fleeing. Outside, she notices Ray in his sister's police car and asks him to drive her away. Ray is worried as he might get into trouble for helping a fugitive, but Anna somehow convinces him. On the way, she reveals that she's actually a wildling, but Ray doesn't understand what that means. He then asks where they're going, to which she responds, the Northern Lights. However, Ray stops the vehicle and informs Anna that the police car has a tracking device and they'll be caught. He urges her to return to town, but Anna refuses and flees into the forest, prompting him to follow her. At night, Anna swims in a lake while Ray lights a bonfire to keep her warm. He then takes off her wet clothes to dry them, but Anna suddenly hugs him affectionately. Ray also hugs her and notices thick hair growing on her back. "Awooga," says Ray, but she reassures him that she won't hurt him. The two then grow closer and eventually make love that night. Meanwhile, Roger meets with Gabe and accuses him of raising the wildling and causing this trouble. He also reveals that Ellen has been asking questions and he's unsure what to answer her. However, Gabe assures the sheriff that he knows where Anna is hiding and orders him to gather the hunters. The next morning, when Anna wakes up, she notices that her nails have practically turned into claws. Moments later, some hunters arrive to ambush them, and Ray is accidentally shot in the arm. The couple flees for their lives and ends up jumping into a river. Ray suggests that the car is nearby and that they can look for his sister, but Anna realizes she can't involve him in this mess. She requests that he go alone, while she remains in the forest. Ray is heartbroken by the prospect of abandoning her, but he has come to understand her situation now. He then tearfully says goodbye and heads towards the road, where he soon runs into Ellen. The scene then cuts to 3 months later, with Anna still missing and the hunters actively looking for her. We then see her deep in the forest, where she has dark skin and hair on most parts of her body. One day, Ray sees Roger's hunters loading numerous gasoline cans and suspects that they are going after Anna. He immediately calls Ellen and the two decide to follow the hunters. In the evening, Roger, Gabe, and several other hunters arrive in the forest and begin attacking Anna, but despite their efforts, she manages to take down several of them before escaping. Ellen then arrives at the scene, but Roger confronts her at gunpoint, accusing her of meddling in their business. He's about to kill her when Anna suddenly appears and finishes him off. She then shows her pregnant belly to Ellen. "Check this out," before fleeing back into her hideout. At night, the men decide to set the forest on fire to flush out or burn the wildling. Anna discovers a passage through the cave containing her mother's remains and eventually arrives at a mountain. Just when she thinks it's safe, she is struck by a tranquilizer dart, and her attacker turns out to be her adoptive father. Anna soon collapses to the ground, paralyzed, while Gabe is shocked to see her pregnant belly. He now wants to perform a C-section before killing her so that he can take the baby. Gabe then proceeds to cut open her stomach, stating that if the baby is a girl, he will name her Anna, and then he'll make all the same mistakes again, I guess. However, she uses all of her strength to fight off the drugs and transforms into a vicious wildling. She then tears out Gabe's throat and kills him before losing consciousness herself. Shortly after, Anna wakes up and sees the wolf man stitching up her belly. The next morning, Ellen and Ray are still searching for Anna when they catch a glimpse of her running towards the mountains. She soon vanishes from sight, and the two realize that it is best to let her go. Sometime later, a fully transformed Anna has traveled far north, cradling her newborn child under the glow of the northern lights. She then hears the distant cry of another wildling, implying that she's not the only survivor of her kind, or that was just a wolf. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.